versus the Board of Education and Diversity in Public Education. And we have with us Dr. Raymond Richardson and Dr. H. Coleman McGinnis. Dr. McGinnis, before we had our first commercial break, we promised that we'd give you an opportunity to talk about perhaps some of your own personal experiences dealing with Brown versus the Board of Education and how people that you knew responded perhaps to this decision.
Well, I certainly remember as you know, an 11 or 12-year-old child, the hoopla that came out in Richmond, and I actually was pleasantly surprised when I moved to Nashville that the environment did seem somewhat different. The governor of Tennessee, when he called, Governor Frank Lemon, when he called the state militia out, it was to ensure that the black children were able to get into the schools and obey the court orders, as opposed to what Faubus was doing in Little Rock and some of the other southern governors. I think the key thing to remember here is that culture change is a very slow thing, and a very subtle and undercurrents. You just aren't going to see this from day to day or even year to year. It's taken us 25 years since the merger of UT Nashville and Tennessee State to get to the point where we are now, which I think is a very positive and very constructive thing. But we didn't get there easily. It's taken a lot of battles, a lot of arguments, a lot of debates, a lot of soul searching in many respects to go through a series of stages, because there was a lot of resistance to the merger. There was a lot of resistance to the '84 stipulation of settlement for a number of reasons. The current decree we're operating under, we really took a year to work on this. The various parties negotiating. I mean, in some cases, you, as I'm sure Ray will agree, you have to do some negotiating even among yourselves before you can start talking about negotiating with the other folks who are involved in this. But we had the leadership of the person who's now the monitor in this case, Carlos Gonzalez from Alabama, who helped put this together. And it really was something that most of us thought we could buy into, and then we sort of set out to try and get the campus to buy into it. I mean, the state, by the time this is over with, between the stipulation and this consent decree, we've spent about $200 million on Tennessee State University. And the earlier being mostly on the buildings, and now we're really talking about, well, three things: the administrative infrastructure and bringing ourselves into the 21st century in terms of technology and software and that kind of thing to make us really able to serve the students. New programs that we're going to undertake to reach out much more to the Nashville community, to non-traditional students, both in the sort of traditional classroom manner and also going out on the web and distance education, that kind of thing, focusing on business. And Ray can talk a little bit about what they're doing with the e-business program. In health sciences, which obviously is a very important industry in the Nashville area, and in government, in public affairs, urban studies, that kind of thing. And the third area is the money that's going to be spent on renovating what is the old UT Nashville building, which is now our Avon Williams downtown campus. We've got $14 million now to renovate that campus and to really make it into the show place, and a place not only for classes, but the kind of place that folks in downtown would like to come by and have lunch or put on some cultural kind of programs and just make it something that becomes really a central part of life for downtown Nashville.
Very good. And of course, Dr. Richardson, over this last couple of minutes, would you say that the state of Tennessee is now making an earnest effort in terms of trying to provide the resources necessary for institutions like Tennessee State University?
I would say yes, and the reason is that the Attorney General went to the court and asked for this settlement, and that's different from what has happened before. The previous Attorney General went to the legislature and told them they didn't have to fund a stipulation of settlement, and so the state has done an about-face, just as the South, I talked about the change in the South. The state has done an about-face with respect to the consent decree, and they actually have worked with us in terms of developing programs. People who opposed new kinds of initiatives for Tennessee State in the past are now supporting them. And one thing we have a mandate to do is to develop a relationship with businesses in Nashville. And we've gone this route. We've developed relationships with IBM, Lotus, Sun Microsystems. We're on the brink of developing a relationship with Hewlett-Packard, with Oracle. And what we've done is to develop a lot of new kinds of skills for students. And those new skills have allowed students to do things they've not been able to do in the past. And we're going to use that to expand now to the local community to bring those same skills to Nashville.
Very good. And of course, I think as we make preparations for the final commercial break, let me thank the two of you for coming by, because we will be joined on this third segment by another individual from Tennessee State University to talk about the Office of Minority Affairs there. So let me thank the two of you for giving us the excellent information that you've given us. And let me have this first commercial break, and then we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.
Coming up.
We are